there, my name is Tanyawat Siwajana and welcome back to Transvibe, the program where you see me yap about Roblox transport games for a living. Last episode we talked about British Railways, something so realistic that this episode I've decided to move on to something more simple. Trains, more specifically the Trains universe. Now what is it? It's a game series created by Alex Berry, more commonly known on the Roblox platform as Eurep. This guy has been dabbling in it since 2014, and ever since 2021 it has been periodically updated with multiple sequels of the game. So let's start with the elephant in the room here. Why the hell am I covering this series and rather not just each games in each episode? Well, first of all, there is not enough information about each of the games, so therefore it's somewhat logical, as the Trains universe is indeed a series of games, to literally cover all of it in one video. And secondly, the aesthetics of Trains. Simplicity. That's the aesthetic of, well, Trains. While SCR and BR hold a duopoly on the world of meshed innovation in the Roblox transport space, the games in the Trains universe are more simple, with Trains modeled in Roblox Studio. That sets the series apart from the others, being so simple it can run on any type of hardware Roblox supports. And it gives off a vibe that feels like you're literally in an old game or something, even though there's multiple updates recently. It's important to note that it takes a lot of time to make these updates for the Trains universe games, and therefore we could just consider it as just a fun game. Likely the reason why I've decided to add C418 music into this episode, because, well, it just represents how simple Trains is. So let's first start off with, you guessed it, the first installment, Trams. Wait, Trams? Come on. Yes, Eurep's first game in the series was indeed Trams. Due to the limitations of what was 2014 Roblox, Trams was indeed revolutionary for its time, with seats and doors in upcoming updates, and scenery like coastal areas and even abstract cities. The game's Trams were good for the time being, but although it's safe to say it was behind Roblox standards. Well, you know what they say. First came Trams, now comes Trains. Released in early 2015, Trains featured basic trains, of course, and stations, as well as scenery mimicking the British countryside. Trains themselves could reach speeds more than 50 steps per second, that's the unit of measurement for speed on Roblox or something, and had wider carriages and, of course, better seats. Available trains to drive included the Standard Plus1, the Freight Train, the Metro Train, the Express Train, the Locomotive Hold Train, and of course, the Steam Train. Not many updates were pushed out to Trains ever since release, however, with the outbreak of the pandemic and lockdown causing multiple people to see Roblox as a way to cope, Eurep made Game Pass Trains free. This was later reverted, or likely after, or during the update on the 2nd of January, but sliding doors and, of course, opening and closing doors were added, and Trains can now spawn with randomized colors, and you can also choose your own. Another overhaul was on the 3rd of May when the title screen was added to the game. In mid-2015, Eurep created his most ambitious project yet, Mind the Gap, a British train game that seeks to rival other games and revolutionize Roblox transport. Although the original game became the classic version, Eurep created an updated version in 2017, retaining the name and transferring ownership to Horton Foundry. This updated version included numerous additions such as new stations, regions, trains, enhanced user experience including a new UI, and improved scenery. The game also included rapid transit such as the Launceston Underground and of course buses, as well as a taxi system as well. Now I know you guys are gonna be smashing on your keyboards in the comment section that Mind the Gap isn't supposed to be in this episode because it's not part of the train series. Well, kid you not, it should be given an honorable mention because, well, that is what Europe has been doing in these past few years, even before he decided to make sequels of Trains. He later abandoned Mind the Gap in 2023. However, he has already revived Trains even earlier, which brings us to Cable Cars. Yup, Cable Cars. Released in early 2021, this game was based on the actual San Francisco Cable Cars and is set in the fictional place of San Amaro. It's a very downtown metropolitan place, and the map of the game is somewhat very big. I mean, it's likely comparable to Trains. The best thing? There's only 2 vehicles available. 1 free and 1 Game Pass. It's very shocking. There's only the standard and the jumbo. I just don't have any words to say. It's literally just... So enough tomfoolery, let's talk about Trains Island, the next installment in the Trains series. Set in the island of Hanashima, Trains Island takes us to the Orient, more specifically, the Japan-esque landscape, giving us a feel of the islands while giving us very good trains to use to explore. There's a lot of coastal areas, there's a lot of rivers, and there's even one tiny island that you can explore. A lot of stations and even an airport. Glad you could really see planes now. And we got a whole set of trains, most specifically revolutionary trains. Europe has already amped up a lot of his building skills likely, so let's take a look at each of them. You've got the rail car, the hopper, the metro, the runner, the model, the tractor, the evolution, the vintage, the express, and the luxury. Most of the trains in the game are based on actual Japanese trains, so it's pretty shocking how similar they are. The Evolution stands out from other trains as it is the first train to be able to tilt in corners. Yes, it's the first tilting train in the series. Compared to Trains, Trains Island has a larger map. With over 20 stations, it takes the title as the largest train game by station count, unfortunately. Overall, Trains Island is a very good introduction to the sequels of Trains, and hopefully it comes back to its former glory because, well, there's not much players who are playing the game. Released on the 9th of September 2022, Trains Canyon gives us the view of the North American railroad system. Yes, railroads, not railways. More specifically, the western part of the United States. Oh, say, can you see? Trains Canyon takes the title as the largest map by far, even larger than Mind the Gap, and because of how large the railroad system is, there are longer distances between stations and therefore lesser stations than Trains Island. But there's a dedicated freight section for you to spawn freight consists. Yes, freight trains, dedicated freight trains. We've got a lot of trains to talk about, so let's run it down. Passengers include the General, the Liner, the Marshal, the Empire, the Prospector, the Flyer, the Atlantic, the Turbo, and the Sheriff. Moving on to freight, we got the Tug, the Bounder, the Longhorn, the Mesa, the Shark, the Hauler, the Fortis, the Behemoth, and the Goliath. The Turbo and the Behemoth both take the cake as the first 2 trains in the train series to have gas turbine engines. Later updates added the airport extension, where you can terminate at the airport station and turn directions to the other cab if your train has such. And the electrics update, where new electric vehicles were added, and when driving these trains, overhead lines will appear in the game. Trains Express is the latest iteration in the Trains universe. Released in 2023, the only word that I think fits this game would be fast. And I mean really fast. Trains Express gives a breathtaking take on high-speed trains. With over 450 miles, it has the most trackage out of any Trains universe game, and the second most if counting Mind the Gap. Trains Express also introduces several new features, like randomized depot spawning, dynamic platform heights, which is a bit weird, expanded information displays, and automated announcements. Trains Express comprises of several trains based on actual high-speed trains from almost every corner of the world, from Europe to the Americas to even the Orient, like from Japan. From the Zaisho, based on the Series 100 Shinkansen, to the Gardino from the Italian Pendolino, to the Shun train based on the CRH-1, to the Viking based on the Tilting X200, the ICA-based Essen, the Eiffel based on the Soot STGV, known to be the first train from the game to be revealed, the N700 Shinkansen-based Kobayashi, the TGV duplex-based Triumph, and the Renfei Class Model 2 based Toros, which looks like a duck or pato. Most of these trains can go over 200 studs per second, with the Toros topping this list with the fastest at 320 studs per second. One of the notable features of the trains in Trains Express are that they have cafe or catering cars, usually manned by an NPC. For example, the Eiffel has Pierre Gasly! Sorry. Overall, the game is a very good and breathtaking take on high-speed rail, especially with the buildings and the design of the game itself. It's pretty good, and I do not know what to say anymore. Now, we've already talked about every Trains Universe game, including the honorable mention of Mind the Gap, but still, the list doesn't end there. As evident by Eurev's exhibit during Transport Tech, which still exists, but is in the game terminal, there's a lot of upcoming games in the Trains Universe series that I would like to run down as part of this. Like Train Subway, a view of the New York City Transit subway. Trains Highland, a somewhat scenic but still functional railway based in the Scottish Highlands. Trains Bharat, in India of course. And Trains Commuter, showcasing the commuter trains that exist in Britain. But the most notable of the incoming installments is Trains Intercity. Set to be the largest installment in the Trains Universe series, Trains Intercity takes you towards a ride on the long-distance rails of Britain, with a multitude of trains actually being based upon former or current intercity trains like the Class 43. Facing the difficulty in releasing the game on time, Europe decided to release two trains from Trains Intercity, the Maestro based on the Class 390 Pendolino, and the Icarus based on the Class 370 advanced passenger train into Trains Express temporarily, giving us a sneak peek of what's next for the Train series. Overall, it's going to be a landmark release in the Trains universe, but only time will tell if Trains Intercity will be good or not. And if the Pendolino will be 1,000 Robux Game Pass or not. And that's about it for Trains. From a small network of a few stations and a small map to now a whole huge collection of train games from almost every continent on Earth, I believe there's a great future ahead of Trains, and I guess we've already completed the Holy Trinity. First there was SCR, then British Railway, and Trains, including Mind the Gap. Errors and omissions always expected, so I do apologize and will try to make it up in the next episode, but I guess yeah. So next episode we will be taking a break from the rails and moving on to new heights, so I guess you'll have to stick around and find out what's next for Transwipe. And that is about it for this episode. I'm Tanya Watsiwajana, thank you for watching.